Hey guys, um, I wanted to jump in here real quick and just do a real quick episode. Not even really an episode, kind of just a what's on my mind, where we're at type thing. Um, it's a pretty interesting position we're in right now with the show. Uh, as we come to a year-end close for our biggest year yet, I want to say thank you to you guys. You guys have been really great for me. You guys have been great for the show and obviously great for our sponsors and all that kind of fun stuff. We have the attention of some people who are pretty important in the off-road community, so I'm very excited to tell you guys that 2021 will be the biggest year for the show and the biggest year for me individually. So it's going to be a really very interesting time. But there's something I wanted to cover before I really got too much further. Um, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about the drivers that I've been getting on the show, whether that's East Coast or West Coast or whatever it may be. Um, let me kind of explain what I do in the show, why I chose to do a podcast, and why it's important to me to have diversity in what we're doing. So recently, basically the whole month of November, I had a whole bunch of West Coast guys. I'm on a West Coast run here recently, and I'll say it's accredited to a few different things, to be honest with you. The first one is there's a lot of media coverage on the East Coast guys, and um, there's shows almost every single night of the week. So there's that. It's not always the best interest of the show to cover someone or have an interview with somebody who gets interviewed, once a week. That's not necessarily what I want to do for the show in terms of having the same person on and hearing the same things. Um, there's only so many hours in a day, so I don't always get an opportunity to watch the other shows or follow those other things. If it's in a podcast form, I'll check it out for sure. But there's not always the opportunity to do that. So if I know that someone's getting covered all the time, I want to bring the best value I can to you guys, the listeners. So what I typically will do is cover people who you may not know. Now, I catch flack for this all the time, and I want to explain why I do this on purpose and why I think it's a good thing. In any of the podcasts that I listen to that are interview based, I listen to some that are, about TV shows and things like that. I listen to some that are conspiracy theories is one of my favorite areas of podcast listening because I like listening to crazy people talk about crazy things. It kind of is it's sensational. But the model that I like to follow when it comes to interviews is having a really wide variety. Now, why do you get wide variety? Because I'm sure some of you guys in the past month, 2 months or so, have seen an interview that you weren't interested in listening to because you didn't know the guy. And I had someone reach out to me this week who's super high up, and he basically just explained to me, I don't listen to half your shows because I don't know who they are. And I have to say, that's kind of the wrong way to do this. I'm not somebody to tell you how to listen to the show or what to do. I don't care. Honestly, I hope you enjoy all of the different things and all of the different outlets that are there. But what I need you to do, or what I would prefer you to do, is give people a chance. Because close that door. Sorry, everybody, my dogs were running in here. Because my favorite interviews that I've ever done or I've ever had, my favorite interviews or my favorite podcast that I've listened to, they're with people that I didn't know what they did or who they were before it began. Um, it's great. Those are the ones that, I'll give it 10 or 15 minutes to see if it sparks my interest because I want to see what they're about. Typically, I'll check out the little description section below, see who they are, what they're about, and all that kind of other fun stuff. If they're someone that I know that I'm just absolutely not interested in listening to, I'll move on. But if it's in the sector that I am interested in, it all, like the off-road world, for example, I'm pretty much interested in what, everybody. I'll give everyone a chance to listen to. Some of those interviews turn out to be my favorite because I gained so much knowledge on something that I may not be as familiar with. So one of the most important things that I can recommend to you guys, and this is the point of this episode, or the point of just this little short blurb, is if we post an episode of someone that you're not familiar with, or if you're an East Coast guy and I post an Ultra 4 guy or a short course interview, or vice versa, West Coast, and I post a rock bouncer or something like that, I encourage you, I implore you to just give it a chance. Have it on in the background. You never know, you may be interested ultimately in what someone has to say. And 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee that you'll learn something that you probably didn't know. And that wide breadth of knowledge is so valuable in a ton of different ways, because whether it be RC, side by side, full size, 4400 all the way to rock bouncers, whatever it may be, there is knowledge to be learned, and we can learn from each other, and it'll just make you a more well-rounded fan of the sport. I guarantee it. I used to not be a big fan of Ultra 4, and now, the day Ultra 4 race is on, I'll sit down on the couch for the day. That's what I'm doing. So we have a lot of King of Hammers stuff coming up, or King of the Hammers, excuse me. We have a lot of East Coast guys lined up. We're going to really, really nail some East Coast stuff here coming soon, and hopefully in January I can get some of the guys before King of the Hammers just to see how it's going to look. So it's exciting stuff, guys. It really is, and I encourage you to, because I have all the analytics, I have the numbers and everything. All the podcasts are doing great, but when people reach out and they tell me, hey man, why don't you do this or that, and I do take constructive criticism. That's always open. If you listen to my Phil Licciardi episode, you know that I have one guy who tells me, I'm doing something wrong in every single interview that I post. But do you know what? Some of that stuff is true. Just like I say King of Hammers, I just assume everyone's, fine with that. But it made this guy so upset that I wasn't saying King of the Hammers, that it's something that I make a conscious effort towards. So, it's not that he said anything to me, and ultimately he's right. It is called King of the Hammers. So all that being said, I really like hearing feedback from you guys. If there's something you like about the show, if there's something you don't like about the show, let me know. If there's somebody you want to get on the show, let me know. I would like for this to be an interactive community. I love meeting all of you guys, and I think I'll have the opportunity to do that a lot more in 2021. I'm very excited about the future, the opportunities, but that's pretty much all I had to say. Give podcast with someone you don't know a chance. Just listen to them. You might learn something, or better yet, you just burned an hour and you got to listen to someone talk about, something you don't know anything about. You might enjoy yourself. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll tell you guys this too. Seriously, I know I say it in the ads all the time, but the most important thing that you can do for the show is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It definitely helps the show big time. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.